All right, so I feel like Denny and Drew on Experimental Brewing have been talking about cream ale and how much they love cream ale. And it Thirsty Orange happened in the spring, and I hadn't done any lagers at that point. But I was kind of craving just like a plain or like not a plain, but a beer flavored beer. And I was
Hmm.
like, this would be good. Thirsty Orange is coming up. I'll put it in there. And I kind of based it on, I think Drew's recipe for, I think it's like a knockoff of Genesee cream ale.
Okay.
Um, and I made it, and it was like so simple and like one of the easiest brew days I've ever had. Everything went well. I mean, you only like, there's one hop addition at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like, flaked maize in there.
Hmm.
I mean, it was simple and it went smoothly. And I was like, this is great, gonna bring this beer to a festival, so it's gonna
Hmm.
do well. I have a side tangent on like now if I'm thinking about brewing for a festival, I'm probably gonna do something a little more like I don't know, fruity or like the ones that people go wild for are kind of the weird ones that are or not weird ones, but
They're
have a
usually
little bit of
sweeter.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, I feel good about this beer. I tasted it. It tasted great. I put it in the
Okay.
keg. It tasted great. I had just, an important part of the story is that I had just switched to starting to use floating dip tubes because I wanted to have the clearest beer that I could possibly get. And I had used floating dip tubes on a beer before, and I just kept pulling foam, like because it wouldn't, like it was just staying up
Yeah.
above the beer line or right on the edge of the beer line. And so I had read online, just go, just use like, excuse me, like a nut and just, or a washer or something. And I was like, okay, I can definitely do that. So I went to the hardware store and I got a nut and I put it on there. And then day of Thirsty Orange, and I pull it out and I'm excited because I feel confident about this beer. It tasted good last week.
Hmm.
It's going to be great, and it just tastes like metal. It just tastes like straight metal. And I'm like, this is gross. And I asked somebody else, I'm like, am I crazy or does this taste like metal? And they're like, no, that definitely tastes like metal. So there I am with all that beer that I made for this competition. I had only drank like pints of it, and nobody, like people ask for it, and I tell them like, hey, I'm just gonna warn you, like it's not as good. It's not that good. And I'm just baffled. I'm like, what did I do? I look up all the reasons that you could have heavy metal, and they're just like, oh, it's probably exposure to metal, blah blah blah. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, maybe it'll just go away. So I leave it in my kegerator for like, I don't know, a month, maybe
Okay.
2 months,
Hmm.
and hoping it'll go away. And I check it probably every couple weeks. Terrible, 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 terrible. And finally, I pour it and I dump it into my bathtub, and I'm dumping it, and then the floating dip tube falls out, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just I got to pick that up and put it back in. And as I pick it up and look at it, that nut that was on there was rusted, just fully rusted.
Oh my
And
Lord.
I was like, I know why it tasted like metal now. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So, moral of the story is if you're going to weigh down a floating dip tube with metal, make sure that you use a stainless steel washer or nut or something.
Bro,
So,
100%. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like I saw that. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a good story. I gotta hear this
yeah.
all the way through.